This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on 39 Dunedin News, a group of employers meet with the Workplace Relations Minister to discuss health and safety concerns. Syrian refugees are being encouraged to learn about local flora and fauna in an effort to help them settle in. And we find out why local school children are preparing to sleep rough in their classroom. Good evening, Dunedin. I'm Rebecca Dupree. Concerns about recent changes to the country's health and safety laws are being addressed by the Workplace Relations Minister. Michael Woodhouse has spoken with a group of employers representing around 50,000 workers in Otago, and he's hoping the conversation leads to real changes within workplaces.
Checking over his notes. Workplace Relations and Safety Minister Michael Woodhouse is one of those speaking at an event organised by insurance agents Gallagher Bassett. He's addressing around 50 delegates, representing tens of thousands of employees across Otago, to outline the recent changes to health and safety legislation.
I think the major changes that we've reflected what the modern workplace is. 25 years ago, organisations worked pretty much in a standalone capacity. Now in a shopping mall, a construction site, even a hospital, we could have dozens of different organisations working together. And what I want them to do is work together on the health and safety front as well.
He's pleased this event has been organised to bring key players together in one room. It's a way for him to clarify any misconceptions and hear firsthand about any perceived issues employers might have.
Well, firstly, I'm really encouraged that business leaders are coming along to have this conversation, because to me it says they're really tuned into this. But I also will be interested in hearing from them about what their early perceptions are and give them a sense of what the government's objectives are for this.
Woodhouse says these days health and safety isn't something that workplaces can afford to overlook. He says it's literally a matter of life and death, and he wants to eradicate the latter. He shares the sentiments of those workers who turned up to this year's Workers' Day memorial service that change is needed.
The fatality rate has already dropped by more than 25%, which is the target the government set for itself by 2020. The serious harm rate is also down by 6%. That's not as much as we'd like, but I think we're heading in the right direction.
Woodhouse says the most important thing he wants to see the new legislation address is workers' attitudes toward workplace health and safety. It's that change he hopes will lead to safer workplaces nationwide. Daryl Baser, 39 Dunedin News.
The Southern District Health Board is preparing for 2 large department upgrades. The current gastroenterology unit is to be completely demolished and rebuilt from the inside out, beginning early next month. In its place will be a purpose-built facility, including increased clinical spaces and an enhanced recovery area. It comes hot on the heels of work beginning on a new audiology unit at Walkery Hospital, which is due to open in November. The current unit is located within Dunedin Hospital, but DHB staff say the new location at Walkery will provide easier access to the unit with parking nearby. A group of Syrian refugees are being encouraged to get out into the garden as part of an Otago Polytechnic initiative. They're taking part in a workshop to learn more about local plants and gardening conditions. And it's just one of many initiatives on offer to help the new arrivals settle in.
Learning the local way. This group of Syrian refugees are gaining an insight into Dunedin's growing conditions as part of an Otago Polytechnic workshop.
They were pretty keen to be able to show former refugees around the campus and around the living campus, and the idea was being that we could help with some practical ideas, particularly around food and around planting and growing. 15 people attended the workshop, eager to learn more about herbs, composting and even beekeeping. As part of the talk, those taking part were also given a selection of plants to take home and establish their own gardens. Both food and plants are a big part of Syrian life, and getting back into the pastime is a highlight for the refugees.
Until Dunedin.
The same home country, the weather and the nature and everything. She feels sometimes as she was in Syria.
Staff at the Polytechnic want to do what they can to help the new arrivals settle into Dunedin by providing them with the necessary skills to help them adapt. This gardening workshop is just one way they plan to do that. They're also keen to provide them with technology that's no longer needed on campus.
Our equipment, the computing equipment, what we have extra or gear that will be appropriate for people to use. Some of that has been passed on through to families who need computers at home.
There's also plans to offer food safety and English language courses to enable the new Dunedin residents to gain the qualification and skills necessary to find work. Annabelle Dick, 39, Dunedin News.
Several University of Otago researchers have been recognised for their work. The university has just announced their Early Career Awards for Distinction in Research, with $5,000 being presented to each of the 6 researchers. The selected academics come from a range of departments, including pathology, biochemistry and psychology. Deputy Vice-Chancellor Professor Richard Blakey says it's exciting to see staff making important contributions in their respective fields at a relatively early stage in their careers. The awards were first introduced in 2004 as a way to recognise and nurture the university's most promising early career researchers. A group of school children are preparing to spend the night in refugee-like conditions to help raise money for those less fortunate. Liberton Christian School pupils are taking on the inventive challenge as part of this year's 40-hour famine, and they're looking to raise more than ever before.
Stirring the pot on a humanitarian crisis, Liberton Christian School pupils are preparing to spend the night in a makeshift refugee camp to raise funds for this year's 40-hour famine.
We're taking up the opportunity this year to support children who are refugees in Jordan in some really large refugee camps over there, and our kids have planned a great event tonight to help raise money and support those children.
50 children are getting involved in the challenge, setting up camp in a classroom and eating a similar amount to what those in a refugee camp would receive. They're also getting set to simulate the journey a refugee would take from their homeland to a camp by using a school-wide maze.
I'm taking part because I really want to help the refugee children and also want to feel what it's like to be in their shoes. I'm taking part because I feel like I've always wanted to help, but I've never really known why, and this is a really good way to help.
I'm taking part because I want to help. We're just always like leading, I guess, you know, and I've always liked to help.
All the money pupils raise this year will go towards World Vision's efforts to create child-friendly spaces such as nail painting stations and refugee camps. This isn't the first time Liberton pupils have taken part in the weekend challenge. Last year, the Christian school that only boasts 80 pupils raised more than any Dunedin school. They fundraised $5,000 for the course in 2015, a total they're hoping to exceed this year. But staff say it's about more than just making money.
It would be nice, but we actually don't put any pressure on our kids to raise a certain amount, so we never know what is going to happen until it's done, so we just wait and see what comes.
Following the famine weekend, World Vision New Zealand will use the money to fund child spaces, education programs and counselling in refugee camps. Annabelle Dick, 39, Dunedin News.
Still to come on 39 Dunedin News, we chat with the first woman to win a New Zealand Rally Championship event, and book lovers are in for a real treat.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell menswear, it fits.
It's on again. The Star Regent 24-hour book sale starts noon 10th June. Don't miss out!
Junk-free June is about making a change that makes you healthier and happier. Kick the junk or that bad habit during June and you'll be helping yourself and supporting the Cancer Society. Get others to support you and get rewarded with discounts on some great products and services too. Go to junkfreejune.org.nz today and get started. You'll be doing good for you and for local people affected by cancer.
We're a 25 Moreau Place at Dog with Tails Cafe and Bar. So we take coffee very seriously. We do what's called contract roasting, so we're creating our own roasting profile and then doing our own blends. We're really focusing on the craft of what we're doing. You know, we're going back, instead of going on mass-produced sort of cheap things, we're taking the time to really craft what we're making. make it so anyone can come here and have a feed and be able to get something they're able to eat or that they want to eat as well. You're kind of getting a taste of cafes from all around the world when you come here.
Come one, come all to the Lana Castle Winter Ball. Traditional dancing, dining and fun to be had. Dress up in your Victorian costume and experience the glamour of yesteryear and witness the address of the haggis. Friday 22nd of July, get in fast as tickets are limited. Call 4761616 or go online to www.lanarkcastle.co.nz.
It's Junk-Free June.
I'm giving up chocolate.
Go to junkfreejune.org.nz today and get started.
Pregnant? Need to talk? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Pregnancy counselling services are here to help. It's free, it's confidential. Call us now on 0800 773 462.
It has no arms, no legs, has a drill in its mouth up to 8 hours a day and still never complains. It's one of 72 mannequin torsos in our new $3.8 million dental simulation lab, the first and only facility of its kind in New Zealand. My name is Nikki Rose Coltolaro and this is my place in the world.
Take your place in the world.
It's Junk-Free June.
I'm giving up the couch.
Go to junkfreejune.org.nz today and get started.
Welcome back. 3 of the country's top banks have introduced tough new restrictions on home loans for foreign buyers. BNZ, Westpac and ANZ say they'll cease lending home loans to foreign buyers while also bringing in new rules for Kiwi borrowers living overseas. Hopeful buyers on temporary resident visas will only be accepted if they have both a New Zealand address and a New Zealand-based income. An ANZ spokesman says the changes are being made to ensure the bank is appropriately positioned in the current housing market, taking into account supply pressure in certain areas. And on that note, let's take a look at today's markets. The NZX 50 has closed the day up 1 whole point. It's now at 6,972. The FTSE is down 70 points. To the exchange rates, and the Kiwi dollar is down against the majority of currencies we follow, except for the Australian dollar. A Dunedin rally driver has become the first ever female to win a New Zealand Rally Championship event. Emma Gilmore took her maiden rally win at last weekend's Rally Canterbury, showing she's a real title contender with just a few rounds remaining. And she joins us now to talk about it. Good evening.
Hi.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How do you feel after the win last weekend?
It's been an amazing week. I've had so many people ring up and congratulate me or drop into work, and it's just, yeah, it's been surreal actually. So I'm feeling a little bit tired. The adrenaline rush hasn't stopped, but I'm just sort of starting to get a bit more tired.
Nice. Well, what does it mean for your campaign?
Yes, so we had our first round at Otago where the card, we had a turbo failure, so we didn't get any points at the first round, and then we've had a good strong second place, and then winning this latest round, we're actually now second in the championship. So we're not far away from first, so it's definitely a doable thing is to get the national title this year.
Is it difficult to fit in training time at this time of year?
I'm pretty religious and I go to the gym every morning, so I go to Body Synergy Gym in High Street, and Rowan Ellis there does a great job, so he keeps me pretty fit. Actual time in the car, not so much, because the car, every time you take it out, it's using tyres and fuel, so it's quite expensive, but also getting roads to test on isn't as simple either, so really we don't drive the car at all between events.
Are there many females involved in rallying?
There's a few drivers, like Deborah Kibble was also competing in the weekend, but there's a lot of navigators. So in rallying you have a navigator who sits beside you, so there's 2 of you in the car. So there's a lot of female co-drivers, navigators, and also female people behind the scenes that do the running of the events and stuff.
Do you think of yourself as a role model to women?
Absolutely. I think being in a man's world, you know, I get a lot of support from the ladies because I'm out there and I'm competing against the boys and I'm beating them. So, you know, it's really nice having such support, and you really notice it, I think, with the young girls when you go and visit schools and that sort of thing. Like, I think young girls seeing a girl out there beating the boys, it's great for them.
It's pretty cool. Now, you're also about to head to Italy. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's very exciting. So I'm off to Italy next week to compete in another cross-country rally, which is what I did earlier in the year in Qatar. So quite different to the rallying I normally do, where it's flat out high speed on gravel roads. This is a bit more navigational for the navigator, and a little bit trickier, like with the cross-country terrain that you also have to get yourself over, so a bit more just a different kind of motorsport. So yeah, so I was very lucky I got invited to go back and do this Italian Baja event, so yeah, it'll be exciting. And you'll be taking your own car over? No. So with motorsport, logistics. So sometimes you might travel with your car, or you'll send your car and do a championship with it, and you'll ship it from country to country. But normally, when you go to Europe and that, you hire a car or have a car. But this car's provided for me in Italy, and it's also quite different to the Suzuki here. Like the Suzuki's, you know, for go fast on the gravel roads, it has a top speed of about 190. This, we might get it wound up to probably 150. It's going to be a bit heavier and slower.
Have you competed in similar cross-country events?
Just the event in Qatar that we did in April, and that was quite a different event. So that was 5 days long, and each stage was about 350 kilometres. So we were driving for a long time each day. As in the stages we normally do in New Zealand are only sort of like 20 kilometres is a long stage. So quite different. Again, I'll be still learning, getting experience in Italy, because the stages are still like 85 kilometres long. So, and I don't know what the terrain will be like. I think it's going to be more sort of riverbed kind of rougher terrain. So.
Oh goodness! What are your goals then for the remainder of the New Zealand Championship event?
We want to keep winning.
Yeah, obviously. Yep.
So I think if we keep winning, we've got 2 rounds to go, Gisborne and the Coromandel. So yeah, if we get 2 wins, we want to take out the national title.
Rally driver Emma Gilmore, congratulations once again. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
After the break on 39 Dunedin News, hundreds descend on the Regent Theatre, and we'll take a look at the results of this week's online poll.
Emu oil has been used for centuries to support joint mobility and tired muscles. Also helpful for supporting healthy skin. Available as oil or in capsules. Go to www.silverhorn.co.nz to order emu oil today.
It's Junk-Free June.
I'm giving up the couch.
Go to junkfreejune.org.nz today and get started.
Come all to the Lana Castle Winter Ball. Traditional dancing, dining and fun to be had. Dress up in your Victorian costume and experience the glamour of yesteryear, and witness the address of the haggis. Friday 22nd of July, get in fast as tickets are limited. Call 4761616 or go online to www.lanarkcastle.co.nz.
It's Junk-Free June.
I'm giving up chocolate.
Go to junkfreejune.org.nz today and get started.
I understand now how economics can affect global warming.
And I found out how grass growth in New Zealand affects Fashion Week in Milan.
I can even tell you how smartphone technology affects the survival of mountain gorillas.
Sorry.
Because at the Otago Business School, it's not just about the world of business, it's how business affects the world.
I'm Kim. Michaela.
David. And this is our place in the world.
Take your place in the world.
We're a 25 Moray place at Dog with Tails Cafe and Bar. So we take coffee very seriously. We do what's called contract roasting, so we're creating our own roasting profile and then doing our own blends. We're really focusing on the craft of what we're doing. You know, we're going back, instead of going on mass-produced sort of cheap things, we're taking the time to really craft what we're making. make it so anyone can come here and have a feed and be able to get something they're able to eat or that they want to eat as well. You're kind of getting a taste of cafes from all around the world when you come here.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Welcome back. Book lovers have yet again swarmed to the Regent Theatre for the beginning of the annual 24-hour book sale. It's the organisation's biggest fundraising event, with proceeds contributing to upgrades. And organisers say it simply could not happen without the raft of dedicated volunteers.
And they're off. A human tide of book fanatics are surging toward book-filled tables for the Regent Theatre's annual 24-hour book sale. Coordinator Alison Cunningham says the sale is an exciting annual event that simply couldn't happen without help from many volunteers.
All of the people that you see when you come to the theatre, the person who sells you your ice cream, the person who checks your ticket, the person who takes you to your seat, those people will be volunteers. And of course it was volunteers originally that raised the money to buy the building and stop it being turned into a car park. So we really wouldn't have a Regent without our fantastic volunteers.
She says until noon on Saturday, it's unlikely there's anywhere cheaper to buy a book citywide.
We try and make sure that we are the cheapest place you can buy books anywhere. The vast majority of the books we have for sale are $1 each, and they're blooming fantastic. And somebody's gone to the trouble of sorting them into categories for you. So if it's cookbooks or books about religion you want, somebody's already sorted them out for you. So it's not quite such a bun fight as it would be if we put 250,000 books out just any old how.
While there isn't a capital project in the works currently, Cunningham says the funds raised will be put into an account ready for when large ticket items are needed to be bought or replaced. Daryl Baser, 39, Dunedin News.
Last week marked World Smoke-Free Day, an initiative designed to promote the smoke-free lifestyle worldwide. It comes as several local healthcare professionals continue their campaign to make parts of the city smoke-free. This week's 39 Dunedin News poll asked if you think the Octagon should be smoke-free. And a majority of you, 72%, think it should be. Well, this week police were left reeling after the Queen's Birthday road toll reached its highest number in 27 years. 11 people died on the roads nationwide, prompting police to reiterate the importance of driving to the conditions. Next week's 39 Dunedin News online poll asks if you change your driving behaviour during winter. You can vote at our website dunedintv.co.nz. And now recapping tonight's top stories on 39 Dunedin News. Employers have met with Cabinet Minister Michael Woodhouse to discuss what recent changes to health and safety laws mean for their employees. A group of Syrian refugees are getting a lesson in gardening as part of an Otago Polytechnic-led initiative to help them feel welcomed. And Liberton Christian School pupils are preparing to sleep rough in a classroom as part of fundraising efforts in the 40-hour famine. And it's time now to find out what's going to be inside the weekend edition of the Otago Daily Times, and Deputy Editor Craig Page is with us. Good evening.
Good evening. Yeah, this is the story that keeps on giving. It's the Dunedin Cycle Lane drama, I guess you'd call it now. It's been planned for several years now, and of course the South Dunedin version initially upset many residents out there. They came up with a revised edition late last year. They've now put that on the back burner and are going to focus on the central city. Can't tell us when South Dunedin's actually going to get the go-ahead. They've decided that central Dunedin will be their focus in the meantime. So there'll be some upset South Dunedin residents again. We've also got the latest school roll numbers for our region. It makes some interesting reading as well. Numbers up in the Wakatipu have reached 4,000 for the first time. Schools under pressure now with buildings, not enough room for a lot of their pupils, so there's going to be some interesting growth there. We've got a huge table which lists every school in our region, so it's worth having a look through and just seeing where your school's at over the weekend. Netball excitement as well this weekend. The Steel, they've got a big clash against the Queensland Firebirds. That's effectively atop of the table, both teams leading their various pools, Australia and New Zealand. Interesting to see how they go. Crowd of 2,700 going to be at the Eger Centre for that, so it's going to be a big clash. And of course the weekend mix as well. We've got some interesting recipes for soups, so it's something to do for the weekend.
Indeed. Thank you, Craig. That's tomorrow's ODT.
Thank you.
Time now for local weather.
This 39 Dunedin News weather update proudly brought to you in association with Silverhorn's Emu Oil.
And here is our city view. It's taken of Otago Boys High School. And it has been a rather pleasant day. 18 degrees in the central city at 3 o'clock, 19 at the Gardens and 20 out on the Tyree. Looking at the situation, and the strong northerly flow will give way to a cooler west to southwest flow over the weekend. So around the region, that means strong westerlies and showers for Invercargill, Te Anau and Alexandra. Showers later in the day for Gore with strong westerlies and a high of 12. Strong westerlies with showers later on for Queenstown, Oamaru, Wanaka and Twizel, and highs of around 12 to 14 degrees. And Dunedin tonight, we're expecting it to remain fine with an overnight low of 7. Tomorrow, cloud increasing with a period of rain or showers during the afternoon. Fresh, strong, cool southwesters, a high of 13. But out of the whole weekend, my pick for washing day if you're early enough. And on Sunday, snow showers to 600 metres. They will clear during the day with gusty, cold southwesters easing and a high of 10. And finally to the Otago Pellet Fires tidal and fishing information. High tide tomorrow morning is at around 10 to 9. Low tide follows at 25 to 4. And fishing conditions look good tomorrow evening at around 6 o'clock. And that is all from a team here at 39 Dunedin News for this week. We'll leave you now with some shots from the week that was, and we'll see you again on Monday. Good night.
This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.